Welcome back to Enlightened Trading. I'm your host Conrad, and today with another look at the stock market. So as usual, this is my TradingView page, but I already talked about it in my latest video, so jumping into it right away. This is Instagram. Also, please follow me over here and leave a like down below on these posts, for some funny content along the way. So very important actually here on SPY, the S&P 500 index. We now have an 8 coming into a 9 sell tomorrow most likely. This is still a bullish day. It's holding around the highs. There is a chance that this is now a 4-hour lower high, and then a break to lower lows is not unlikely currently. So make sure you watch out for around 2,725. If that breaks, then we will most likely move lower once again to 2,600 or even lower, depending on how the candle is shaped and so on. So very important what happens tomorrow with this 9 sell. We moved almost to the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. Maybe we will even wick higher to it and then break down. This is also not unlikely, but I do think that a correction in the short term at least is pretty likely, and maybe even it will be even more important in the long term. But currently, as the fundamental economical outlook seems to be, I do think that especially the USA is trying to get back on its tracks. So this is actually it for the S&P. Now moving to major stocks. So also we are now here on an 8 of the TD sequential countdown phase on Amazon. I talked about this, and I can pull it up here so you can see it as well. I talked about this I think many times, like two or three times actually. This inverse head and shoulders most likely playing out here. If I go to the 4-hour and 1-hour time frame, and you can see it even clearer. We have the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder, and then we consolidate even longer. And I said that most likely if we move above 2,000, that we will challenge the all-time highs of 2,200, maybe even break those. And you can see we gapped actually above it, so that is pretty bullish here on Amazon currently. But as I said, it's due for a correction, most likely down to 2,200 currently, so that is a target to look out for. But I do think, as I said, Amazon is currently doing very, very well, especially with the current delivery system being basically under major pressure because many people are ordering things. So me included, of course. So that is pretty bullish and positive for Amazon in general. So Tesla is actually also a thing I wanted to talk about. And I said I would be a buyer down here. I mean, I could mention even more often almost, but I did say that I would buy down here on this 9 buy here of the TD sequential, and then we had a pretty major bounce, a correction. I said actually on this candle that I would look, or on this, I don't know actually, that I would look out for a daily higher low here forming on Tesla. And then we had it here on this 4 of the countdown phase. Maybe even go to smaller term time frames. It will be useful. And it almost was okay. So, but still, nonetheless, very, very positive here for Tesla currently, moving higher into the countdown phase now on a 7. So maybe we will get a correction this week. We have to wait and see. But this, or no, that's not possible. Maybe we will get it next week. So that is a thing to look out for, but very bullish in general, and actually moving over 100% of my possible entry position, which I didn't take, of course, because I don't trade stocks currently. So this is now Apple, and similar to the other stocks, I also said that if we move above this trend line, that I would look out for a break of the lower highs and moving higher. I don't know what I said, but I did say, I think, to the 300 range at highest, or maybe we will break down shortly. We almost now made it to the 300 range. If tomorrow is a positive day for the stock market in general, then we can see Apple move once again to a 300-ish to 304, maybe a positive day on a 9 actually, and then correcting the next week, forming a possibility, or forming a possible inverse head and shoulders with the left shoulder, head, and then a possible right shoulder. So we have to wait and see. Yes, this looks like a dick, but that's how it's supposed to be. So this is a potential outplay for Apple currently. I would look out for another correction down to 260 maybe, but not much lower currently. Depends of course on how the candle and price is shaped and how it's playing out. So Google looking very similar, of course, like other stocks, not as bullish yet, but actually now trading into important resistance here with this horizontal trend line touched many times in the past, and now again retested. So we are not consolidating on it. We have to wait and see what happens. But as I said, also here we are now on an 8 of the countdown phase, TD sequential. So this is something to look out for, because we're going to have a 9 tomorrow. Facebook also looking very similar, but it is on a 7. So you can basically apply all this analysis to other stocks as well, of the major blue chip stocks, of course, not to all stocks, because most stocks look quite different. So that's actually it for today's video, I think. I mean, we can look at Twitter also. Twitter not looking as good as the other stocks, didn't bounce too far, and it looks more like a bear flag actually here on Twitter. So that is not something I like very much. I would look for another correction, which, as I said, is not unlikely in the near future. But this looks currently like a bear flag, which doesn't have to get to lower lows, but in general you can see the trend is to the downside, with continuing daily lower highs and daily higher lower lows. So that is not something I like very much. Also, the major thing I wanted to cover actually here. Thank you very much, of course, for staying tuned in this video. And if you did, make sure you like down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel for any major updates. So thank you very much. And as I said, I think this is pretty important. I actually called the low here on Uber. If you moved back to my latest video on stocks, then you will see that I said I would look now for the daily higher low of this 3, and maybe this 4 is already the next countdown phase start, and then we start the next countdown on the next candle. So we're now at important resistance here around 280.50, the 28.50. Of course, 280 is possible. So this is, I think, in my opinion, this is one of the best buys you could currently do in this crisis, in this economical crisis. I do think Uber will be pretty important in the future, and therefore a buy of Uber is pretty key in my opinion. Would of course be a long-term play in my opinion, and maybe even something I will do and actually play Uber. So that is something I would look out for in the near-term future as well. If we get a correction, then I would not look for lower lows here on Uber. Maybe we will get in a bull flag in a bull flag term, but I do think that this horizontal resistance is most likely going to be broken in the near future, and if so, with increased volatility and then a challenge of 42 bucks. I do think this is very likely. This is textbook. So that is something I would look out for. So thank you very much for staying tuned into this video, and thank you very much for watching. Leave a like down below, as I said, and that's it for today's video. And yeah, so hope you had a great start into your week, and maybe even into your weekend tomorrow. So that's that, and I'll see you guys and girls, you people, back next time. Bye.